So today we're going to be checking out Fragrance One Date for Men, which is obviously the new and second release of the Fragrance One line. First we had Office for Men, which I've actually done 2 reviews on. You can check those both out here on the channel, where I actually had kind of a change of mind on my personal thoughts on Fragrance One, Office for Men. Now today we're going to be checking out Date for Men. As you can see, this is in the newest bottle design, which is all black. Previously, the Office for Men that I have was in the all clear bottle, and I like both. I really like the all blacked out design. I wish the cap was black as well, but I do think it's, it's a nice look, a little bit of contrast there. The cap, atomizer, and collar is the exact same as the old bottle, just the difference is the black color, which looks really nice, really sleek. So as always, I'm going to be giving you my full thoughts on this fragrance. Full disclosure, I purchased this fragrance myself from the Fragrance One website. This was not sent to me. I'm not being paid, or I don't have any sort of bias for this fragrance. Again, bought it myself. These are my thoughts. A couple quick things before we get into the review though. First things first, if you have tried this one, let me know what you think down in the comments. Again, this is pretty new. Just within the past couple weeks, I believe it has been made available on the website, so probably a lot of you haven't had a chance to try it yet, but any of you who have, let me know down below what you think of it, or if you want to share your thoughts on Office for Men, we can get a conversation going down below about that one, because that one has been out longer. Sure, more people have tried that one. Second thing is, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also, turn on post notifications and give this video a like. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's go and jump right into this. Fragrance One Date for Men, my full review. Starting off with the smell. So when I first spray on Date for Men, I was reminded of 2 different fragrances right off the bat. And again, this is just to me, to my nose, to my personal, experience with fragrances. The 2 fragrances that I am somewhat reminded of right away are Ultra Male by Jean Paul Gaultier and also Armani Code Profumo. And as you guys know, those are 2 popular fragrances here on the channel. I love them both. I talk about them both quite a bit. They've been in a number of my videos, especially recently. And those 2 fragrances do have one thing in common, and that is the fact that they are very, very sweet. So that will kind of tell you right away the direction that this fragrance goes, at least to my personal nose and just kind of, my opinion on it. Very sweet fragrance, 100%. Up top, I do pick up on a little bit of citrus, mainly orange. That's what I get in the opening. There's some orange. There's a nice spicy cardamom blast. There's also some patchouli in there as well. The patchouli gives it kind of more of an earthiness and kind of a little bit of a sweetness. The orange is also giving it like a sweet, creamy type of nature as well, and then of course the cardamom giving it a nice spicy and oriental kick. So this one definitely does start off very sweet and strong right away. And what I also get is like a little bit of an ambroxan metallic undertone from the scent, kind of similar to actually what you get from Office for Men and some of the other blue fragrances. There's this ambroxan metallic, slightly cooling type of smell, almost like a cooling spice, but not the spice that's coming from the cardamom, something a little bit different there. And I don't see ambroxan listed as a note in this fragrance, at least not on Fragrantica. Maybe there's some discrepancy between Fragrantica and the Fragrance One website, but I don't believe that ambroxan is listed as a note. But again, I do pick up on something that is coming across in a way that ambroxan does, just a little bit metallic, a little bit peppery. And that peppery quality that it has is kind of similar to piercing your nose, kind of like what you get from Office for Men. So now at this point, you're probably asking yourself a couple questions. One of those questions is, okay, is this fragrance better than Armani Code Profumo or better than Ultra Male, since I am comparing it to those fragrances? Second question you may be having is this better than Office for Men? So I'm going to try to answer those really quickly here. Do I think this is better than Armani Code Profumo or Ultra Male? I would say no. I don't think it's better than those fragrances. And again, I am reminded of those 2 fragrances that I mentioned, but by no means do I think this is a clone of those fragrances, because I would say that would be somewhat of a stretch to say it's a clone of Ultra Male or to say it's a clone of Armani Code Profumo, because just like with Office for Men kind of smelled similar to the blue fragrances, but it had a lot more of its own thing going on, more so than this one, because when I smelled Office for Men the first time, I wasn't necessarily reminded of any other fragrances other than the fact that, yeah, it's an ambroxan blue, freshy type of fragrance. Obviously, I got that, but it didn't smell like Sauvage to me. It didn't smell like Dylan Blue. It didn't smell like Bleu de Chanel. This one, on the other hand, is different in the fact that I'm actually reminded of a couple different fragrances when I smelled this one. So do I think this is better than Armani Co Profumo, Ultra Male, and maybe any of the other sweet fragrances out there that this may get compared to? Again, no, I don't think it's better than them. I do think it smells nice, and it somewhat has its own thing going on, but I wouldn't say it's better. And that leads me to the second question, which is this one better than Office for Men? And for me personally, as of right now, I would say, for my personal taste, no, it's not. Office for Men really started to grow on me the more I wore it. And again, it goes back to that fragrance didn't remind me specifically of any other fragrance when I smelled it, whereas this one did. So I do think there's a little bit of a difference there. I don't think this is better than Armani Co Profumo or any of the other sweet fragrances, and I also don't think that this is better than Office for Men. And I also don't think that this fragrance is more niche smelling just because it has oud in it, because to be honest with you, I don't really pick up on the oud very much at all. And the dry down, maybe a little bit, maybe just a little bit of oud, but it's not anything that's like super dank, super like earthy smelling or anything like that. It's nothing like that. The oud is very light. It's kind of like what you would find in, something like Creed Royal Oud, for example. It's a light oud, but it's not overbearing, and you also just don't get too much of it to begin with. So let's go and talk about the performance on this fragrance. Longevity on my skin has been pretty solid. It's been pushing about 7 to 8 hours, sometimes pushing up to 9 hours, so that's pretty good. Projection, on the other hand, this one on me tends to sit closer to the skin than some other fragrances out there. I mean, Office for Men, that one projects out more. This one sits closer to my skin. When I was testing it, I wasn't finding myself catching whiffs of it very often. I had to always bring it up to my nose to smell it rather than catching it in the air. And from a date fragrance, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think, a date fragrance should be one that you have to get closer to the person to smell it rather than have it project across the room. So no, it's not a projection monster. It does have respectable longevity, but the projection, again, sits closer to the skin, which for the application of being a date fragrance, that's not the end of the world. And then that begs the question, is this a good date fragrance? I would say, yeah, it's probably a pretty good date fragrance, just because it does have that more mild projection to where it's not going to be overbearing. But you could also say that it might be almost a little bit too sweet for a date fragrance. It does kind of have a similarity to these other fragrances that I mentioned, which are very sweet and very loud. And I don't necessarily consider those date fragrances. When I think of a date fragrance, I think of L'Année de l'Homme, I think of, Dolce & Gabbana, the one EDP. This one has more of like a wild, young, playful type of smell to it, which, again, it could work on a date, but I could almost see this one more fitting into the crowd of like those mass-pleasing, partying type of fragrances. But regardless, it will work on a date, I'm sure, and it'll work for other situations as well in the fall and winter time. It's going to do probably just about anything except for like upscale, dressed up formal events. So is this fragrance going to be a compliment getter? And the answer is, yeah, it probably will be. Again, it does bear similarities to other sweet, like popular fragrances out there, and those typically do well when it comes to being mass pleasing. This one's going to be no different there. I would say the only thing that may be holding this one back is the fact that it doesn't project very much, that we already talked about earlier. Again, it's not the end of the world for a date application, but in an area where you maybe want to project out, this is going to be limited because it's not going to do that unless you go pretty heavy on the trigger. So it's going to be a good mass-pleasing compliment getter if people can smell it on you. People are getting close to you and going within your personal bubble a lot. They're going to catch whiffs, and I'm sure they're going to like it. But other than that, this isn't going to be one that like reaches out across the room and gets someone's attention. It's just not going to do that. Again, Office for Men, that one projects a lot more. That would probably do that. This one, on the other hand, probably not. So now I want to quickly kind of talk about who this fragrance is for before we go ahead and wrap up this review. I'm trying to switch up the formatting on this review a little bit to make it, a little bit more fun to watch. So who I think this fragrance is for, I can tell you this isn't a masculine fragrance. So if you're not into sweet fragrances, you're not into fragrances that could smell unisex, this is not going to be for you. Again, it's very, very sweet. So you have to be a lover of sweet fragrances, which I know a lot of you are, and myself included. I do really like sweet fragrances. For me, though, somewhat in moderation. I have to be in a mood to wear a very, very sweet fragrance like this one, like Ultra Male, like Armani Co Profumo. Those are very sweet, and therefore can, after a while, you can almost start to get a little bit tired of them because, they just keep hitting you with this like sugary overload sweetness type of thing going on. You really have to be in the mood for it. So again, if you're not into sweet fragrances, you like the strong, masculine, leather, tobacco, just stuff like that, this is not going to be for you. But if you're into something that's a little bit more, I guess, kind of mainstream, since designer fragrances for men are kind of going in that sweet direction, you're probably going to like this fragrance. And again, if you like Ultra Male, if you like Armani Code Profumo, you may see some similarities to those as well. And if you like those, you're probably going to like this one. But if you're someone who doesn't like sweet fragrances like that, this is one you're probably going to want to pass on because it's very sweet, like I just said. So let's go ahead and start to wrap this review up here. My final thoughts on Date for Men. It's nice. Is it my favorite so far of the two I've tried? No, I still do prefer Office for Men over this one. Again, is it better than a lot of the other sweet designer fragrances on the market? I would say for me, no. I'm still gonna wear Armani Code Profumo. I'm still gonna wear Ultra Male. And again, that's just my personal preference of what I think this is similar to. I'm not saying this is a clone of either of those fragrances because it's not. It does kind of have its own little thing going on here with some different notes and a different structure. But just to kind of give you an idea of the direction it kind of goes in, those were the two fragrances that I drew similarities to when I first smelled it. Is this one that everyone should buy? I would say no. Try it first if you can. I mean, as soon as people really start getting their hands on this one, you're probably going to be seeing splits and decants all over Facebook. That's what happened with Office for Men. I'm sure it's going to happen here as well. So it's going to be pretty easy to find and try a sample of once people start getting their bottles. Guys, I gotta jump in here real quickly and tell you about our new company, Fragrance Match. What we've developed is a subscription service where each month you get 2 5 ml fragrance samples of your choice delivered directly to you. What sets our website apart from the others is the fact that 1, we're cheaper, and 2, we send you 2 fragrances each month instead of only 1. And what's so crazy about this whole deal is the fact that we're offering this for only $9.99 a month. There's no shipping, there's no fees, $9.99 a month, and you're getting 2 high quality designer fragrances of your choice each month. That deal, that's insane. I don't know how we're doing this. In fact, I don't know why we're doing it this cheap. If you want to get in on this deal while you can, go check it out. The first link down below. $9.99 a month for 2 5 ml designer fragrances. Guys, if you haven't signed up yet, seriously, hit that link, go sign up. Thank you guys so much for the support. Let's get back into this video. So that's pretty much going to be it for me, guys. Again, let me know down in the comments what you think of Date for Men. Do you think it's a good release if you've tried it? Do you like it better than Office? Do you like it not as much as Office? And if you haven't tried it, let me know if you want to. Do you want to try this fragrance? Do you, does it look interesting to you? Let me know down below. And that's going to do it for me, guys. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow night with another video. Take care.